Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm sharing with you a DT layout made for Hey Little Magpie. I'm using the Cocoa Vanilla Studios These Days collection. I really love their papers and the stripy papers are always my favourites. If you follow me on Instagram you'll see I'm a real fan. So I'm cutting into this paper, it's called Family Ties, and I'm picking out all the shades of pink. And I'm trying to arrange them like in an ombre effect. I've also cut the stripes from the A5 pad as well, just so I make sure that I've got enough. So all these strips are about 6 inches long, and I'm just having a play, just lining them up so I can, in my mind, imagine where they're going to end up. And this takes me longer than you'd think. I just wanted to make sure there was going to be some sticking out either side of the photographs, but I also wanted some cardstock top and bottom as well, so that's the thinking for all the moving around. So I got my distress tool. This is from Prima. It's an old one now, but I do like it. I know it looks like a foot sander, and I'm going to distress the edges off camera of all the pieces, and there they are now. So now I've put them through the sewing machine and I've joined them all together. I've just sewn a single line down the centre of each in white, and it's called chaining when you push them through the machine without stopping in between. It's a sewing technique that I've done when I've done quilting, and it makes it much quicker to sew through them all. So they're all individual now, and I'm just distressing the edges and bending them a little bit with my fingers and getting them back in line on the cardstock. I don't know whether you follow me or whether you're watching a video of mine for the first time, but if you could subscribe or give this video a thumbs up, I'd much appreciate it. I'm relatively new to YouTube, but I'm plugging away at it, and hopefully I'm improving the more videos that I make. So I'm just getting the last few distressed and back in line along the cardstock. So that's just plain white flat cardstock behind there that I'm lining them on. So I decided that actually I'd like a little bit of something on the cardstock behind them. This is just a stencil from my stash, and I'm using some ink oxides, just shades of pale pink, just to add a little bit behind the strips. Now I'm not after very much, and when you see the finished one it doesn't look very obvious, but it just was enough for me to break up the edges of the strips when they're attached to the cardstock. I love these finger daubers. I think these ones are from Amazon. The other box was a gift from a friend, and I find it a good way to get ink onto the cardstock. As you can see, I've got a scrap piece of paper by my left side, and I tend to dab the dauber on there first just to take off that first heavy amount of ink, just so that it doesn't make the dots too dark. So I just keep repositioning it. Obviously, as it's ink, it's not going to be a big deal to keep repositioning the stencil. Keep having a look and then putting it back on. I want some of the dots to appear between the strips as well, if you can see through them. So I'm just checking how it looks. So I'm coming in with a slightly darker pink as well. In fact, the red colour that you see, I don't actually use, that I remember. So I'm just going to add a little bit more in a darker colour over the top. I don't know whether you have any things in your stash that you don't use very often, but my stencils quite often get neglected, so I'm trying to move them around in the room so there's somewhere where they catch my eye, so that I actually start to use them again when I'm making layouts. But I find that happens with lots of supplies. If you can't see them, you don't use them. So I'm just coming in with some wet glue, and I'm going to attach all these strips down the centre, just literally on the stitch line, just so that they still have some depth and shape to them. So they'll be butting up against each other. They don't need to be particularly well in line. I'm just going to, I don't need them to be super neat. So I'm just going to stick them down one at a time. I've finished the rest off camera, so they're all stuck down now, and I've just brought in my 3 photographs of choice. So these are the foam titles from the range, and I've decided to cut out the word lovely. That's the one I'd like, and I'm going to get that to sit above the photographs is the plan. I'm just picking out the bits out the centres, because if I don't do that now I may forget later when I come to stick it down to the layout. So as you can see, I cut it off the packaging with actually the plastic attached, so that I can actually move it around until I'm totally sure where I want it to sit. So I'm happy with that placement. And now I wanted to make some clusters, so I brought in some of the papers. I actually fussy cut some flowers and some butterflies, all in tonal colours to match the pinks and peaches in this range. And I've picked some papers from the A5 pad, and I'm just going to add some layers behind the photographs. So I think I go in and I add 2 different colours, but each photograph gets 2 layers from memory. There's the peachy pink that I'm just cutting now, and I think I bring in a green. See, I'm still choosing. I think I bring in this green that I like as well, just to complement the photographs. I love it when you've got 12 by 12 and a smaller pad, because with the smaller prints in the A5 pad, they look really different to the 12 by 12 papers and make a great for layering. And that's what I'm going to do there. So I'm going to distress the edges of these 2 just to match the stripes that I did earlier, and then I'll get those all stuck down. I take it off camera just to stick the layers together, and I bring it back, and I'm now going to tuck in some more bits. These are frames that I cut out from the Wall of Fame paper, and I'm going to use 3 or 4 to tuck in either side, and I'm also going to make a cluster at the top there just to add some more interest to the stripes. So I cut these frames out from a previous layout. So I don't know if you know much about Hey Little Magpie. They are the UK's biggest scrapbook store, and who I'm honoured to design for. They have a blog with more layouts going up most days, and they have a Facebook group as well if you're interested. Lots of inspiration, monthly challenges as well. So I've got 3 other layouts that appear on their blog over the month, all using this range. So the frames were cut out for that originally, for another layout, but I didn't use them all, so I've snuck in some more on here. I'd sat in front of the TV one night cutting them all out, so it's nice to make use of them. Some of these flowers were die cuts, some of the others I've cut out of the paper because I've been quite choosy about the colour that I wanted, and there's some little butterflies as well, so I'm just getting everything into position with the way I like it to look. And this is the best bit for me. I like all the twiddles and fiddles, so I'm just having a look at the stickers and everything to see what I prefer. I quite like that circle, but it doesn't make the final cut because I feel like it attracted your eye up there too much and away from the photos and the title. So I'm just having a quick look. There's a few butterflies that I'd cut out, so I thought they might as well go in, and a couple of bits of ephemera, and I think I look at some word stickers. So I stick it down off camera, lots of lovely dimension, really pleased with how it looks. This is the full image and some close-ups. Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it, and pop back another time to see what else I'm creating. Bye for now.